And I'm going to start off with a project that has a city view, and it's entitled Future Cities in the Making, Overcoming Barriers to Information Modeling and Socially Responsible Cities. And I just want to highlight that it was a project that stemmed from 2 mini projects that have started, that we've been doing in the last year. And so one of the results that came out in the first projects was that actually planning system in its current form don't actually really allow a better alignment between those digital developments and to allow for better integration between actually planning, designing smart buildings and construction. So there are clear potentials to BIM for city developments. And that is actually where I, as a planner, start. I have the view towards the urban fabric as a whole. So one of the questions that I think from a planning side we can contribute is to look at how can we get the design and governance of information modeling right now, right, to actually then allow to prepare for city information modeling. And we look at it through those 3 streams. So what are the opportunities for BIM actually in planning? What are the barriers? And then we looked at what questions do we need to answer to overcome those barriers. And we did so by actually going out, speaking to stakeholders, and we talked to more than 40 stakeholders, mainly in England and Scotland. And what we asked them was essentially, so what are the barriers that you're encountering? And what we found were obviously numerous barriers, and we tried to structure them in actually 6 categories. So we've got the organizational barriers, the technological barriers, data-related barriers, human resources, financial and legal. And I'm going to take an example from the legal side of it. So if you look at insurance and liability concerns, that was one of the concerns that public stakeholders have because they engage with citizens and they are held to account. So this is the example of Historic Environment Scotland. I don't expect you to actually be able to read this, but this is the list of protocols and standards that they have to deal with and comply with when one person wants to do something digital or change a process, an organizational project within the organization. And as you can imagine, for public servants, that might hamper their initiative to actually go digital. We then ask, so what activities does the government mainly, but needs to be undertaken to support a more digital development? And these were 9 of those answers that have come most frequently. So it's digital mandate digitalization, legal, financial, and planning guidance. But the barriers are interlinked. So if we start off tackling, for example, just one part of it, so develop new standards and protocols, that will impact, for example, who in the organization is actually responsible for it. So, and that leads actually to one of the results that we have come to. So tackling those barriers needs cross-cutting solutions around leadership, changing the way of how collaboration is being done, identifying where the business cases and also public administration thinks in business cases is innovation, and then as cities are, thinking about it strategically. And this is where we want to go next as well. So we want to develop a prioritized roadmap of how we can address those along those lines, creating an enabling tech environment, providing actually leadership that allows for driving change, facilitate collaboration across the administration, and think about strategic planning. And then actually one thing that is very important, to allow for public engagement that actually tackles the privacy concerns that stakeholders have when we do planning and they collaborate to the public. Thank you.